Checking, 1, 2, 3. We're up. Good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting. My name is Don Popple. I'm your chairman today. And our committee today is a little short of people, but we have Mr. Walker and Mr. Barry Boyce, who is councillor of Ward 5. And we have two guests. We have Adam Meyer, who is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer of the committee, and Chris Orson, Manager of Planning. So we do have enough for a forum, so we're all set to go. So welcome, and the Committee of Adjustment meeting for June 12, 2024 will now come to order. Notice to all those in attendance that this meeting will be live streamed on YouTube and recorded, and please note that the recording will be linked to the municipal website following the meeting. I've already introduced the committee, and this is a public hearing to hear two applications for a minor variance to the municipality zoning bylaw. This committee's responsibility to consider all information received to date regarding the requested variances and to hear and consider any comments or questions provided by these applications. Any variances granted by the committee must meet 4 tests, which are very clearly defined in the Planning Act. The requests must be minor in nature, desirable for the property development of the land, comply with the general intent of the official plan, and comply with the general intent of the zoning bylaw. Please note that if anyone wishes to be notified of the decision, make a request in writing to the municipality. Does either committee member wish to declare a conflict of interest with either one of these cases? That being no, correct. Any oral or written submissions will be received in advance of the meeting will be verbally read aloud at the time the application is considered. All persons who are pre-registered will have an opportunity to present or ask questions about the proposals. Please direct all your questions and comments to the chair and state your name and relation to the application prior to speaking. First thing we have to do is adopt the minutes of the meeting of May the 8th. So it's going to be Barry's going to move it. And Gerald Walker is going to second it. Be resolved that the minutes for the Committee of Adjustment meeting on May the 8th be adopted as presented. That's carried. And the second one is the site meeting that we went to on May the 14th. Going to be moved by Gerald. And second by Barry Boyce. Be resolved the minutes from the May 14th, 2024 site inspection be adopted as presented. As carried. We're good to go. So the Montanos?
Nope, they're not here.
They're not here. Okay, so we want to open this one up and we'll get going on it.
So Mr. Montano would like an increased to permit a 1-story accessory building to have a maximum structure height of 6.7 meters or 22 feet, as opposed to the permitted 5.5 meters or 18 feet. The applicant stated that they just wish to match the pitch of the roof of their seasonal dwelling. Staff don't have any concerns.
Did we get any response from any of the neighbors or anything?
So notice of the minor variance was circulated as required by regulation on May 28, 2024. There were no oral or written comments received, and staff note that the following conditions would be appropriate. They are: 1, this variance applies to the 1-story accessory building as shown generally on the property sketch dated April 11th, 2024 and attached to the decision. Any encroachment beyond the variance granted herein will require a further application for a minor variance. And then 2, the County of Haliburton Shoreline Tree Preservation Bylaw 3505 applies. The injuring or destruction of trees within 30 meters of the high water mark is not permitted. The exemptions noted in section 3 of bylaw 3505 apply. Furthermore, additional native shoreline planting is encouraged to screen the buildings, naturalize the shoreline, and address environmental concerns. And lastly, 3, during construction, proper site preparation and construction methods are to be used to prevent sedimentation of the adjacent lake. Sediment fencing is to be installed down gradient from the construction site. The site is to be properly stabilized immediately following construction to prevent erosion and sedimentation.
Any comments? Questions?
I have no questions and no concerns.
Mr. Barry?
No concerns.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we grant the variance as applied for.
Barry?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded that the committee's decision with respect to file 13 MV 2024-008 be recorded as follows. A variance to section 5.2 to permit a one-story accessory building to have a maximum structure height of 6.7 meters or 22 feet, as opposed to permitted maximum of 5.5 meters or 18 feet is granted. Carried? Okay. If people want to come up here and you can have a mic and you won't have to yell at us, you can just speak into the mic. You maybe just give us a quick summary of what you're asking for and we'll see what we can do for you.
Okay, so basically we want to rebuild our seasonal dwelling. Currently, it's just not large enough to accommodate our 3 children and growing families, and we're hoping we get approval today so that we can make it better for our family and more accommodating so everybody can come and have family functions and, you know, so forth. Right now, the bedrooms are small and you have to go over a bed to get across the room and so forth. So that's basically why we want to do it. Yeah, and you know, we're going to make sure the dwellings, you know, within the code that Adam has mentioned and so forth. But I think that's basically it in a nutshell.
Okay, have any questions?
Have you guys read the recommendations and stuff?
Yes, we have.
Is there anything you're not okay with
Well,
or?
the only thing I wanted to mention, I love that the play center is at the front because we sit out there and so it's nice for the grandchildren. We can watch them and stuff. And I know he had indicated we probably have to move that back, but we don't want that to impede our process here. So we're certainly. Yeah,
To the edge.
yes, that's it. Yeah, the only thing for safety. Yeah. But we'll follow whatever you guys recommend.
Daryl?
I think it's been our mandate is to make sure that structures like that aren't in that 30-meter setback or 20-meter setback. So,
We definitely will make
It's-
sure of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's,
And
we
that's,
don't
re-
want to start.
and it's really a liability issue for the municipality is what it is.
Right.
I think basically, right, guys?
We didn't consider it.
Structure, just a little play center for our grandchildren, that's all. Yeah,
That's the issue with it.
Yeah.
Because we always thought about it too, right? Neighbors would come up that were renting and, oh, bring your kids over and.
something happened. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially the liability comes if you don't own the shore allowance, but because this is within the water setback, it's strictly adhered to and structures aren't permitted. Those type of structures aren't permitted within the setback, so they
Okay.
need to be pulled out. That would be something if you wanted to try to have that permitted, then you'd have to obviously recirculate the application
And do a.
and ask for that.
Okay,
But just advisory, it's the policies are very strict about that, so
Okay.
it likely wouldn't be recommended.
okay.
Is there a possibility of like, I heard something about like being able to buy your shoreline or, I don't, like, that standard?
So actually, there is no shoreline road allowance in front of your property. There is some along Benor Lake, but not through the river. So you own right to the water's edge.
Okay.
Okay.
Consider that the river. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, on Upper Benor, there's a shore road allowance, but it stops at the mouth of the river there. There's no shore road allowance right in front of your property. Yeah, the setback's 20 meters. Yeah. Done. Your mic.
Oh, it got shut off here. Thought I was at home. When you do, what, the area that you have in the front of your house there, there's is there a shed there or you added a part of your, to your dwelling, right? And you gotta make sure that the setback is from where that used to be, or you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
yeah, definitely.
yes.
on
Because
the-
if you get a survey,
Yeah.
you gotta make sure that you get the one before,
Yes.
Right,
yeah,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
so,
Yeah, that's why the way we're building it, we're coming it onto a patio
right,
instead of, like a deck or whatever.
yeah.
just because seeing the trees and stuff, like when, you're up higher, you can't
It's
see, so
hard
we
for us
want to
to-
be low actually, so we can
us.
see
You
the lake,
being on the
yeah,
river, you know, you
yeah.
can't see, you're up and looking at the trees and the stairs that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that was one of the conditions, to have the proposed seasonal dwelling shall comply with the minimum water setback, just because the original building permit was for the seasonal dwelling, and it looks like there may have been a porch or veranda constructed since. So that would encroach in that 20 meters, so that's why we put that condition, so your new build will be right at 20 meters or back further.
Absolutely.
That's why that condition's there.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was
Yep.
part of
Yeah.
the.
Well, might as well get this over with. I think I'll make a motion, or sorry, cool.
Can I read the conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, so notice of the minor variance was circulated as required by regulation on May 28, 2024. There were no oral or written comments received. Staff believe the following conditions would be appropriate. This variance applies to the seasonal dwelling as shown generally on the property sketch dated April 26, 2024, and attached to the decision. Any encroachment beyond the variance granted herein will require a further application for a minor variance. 2, the County of Halliburton Shoreline Tree Preservation Bylaw 3505 applies. The injuring or destruction of trees within 30 meters of the high water mark is not permitted. The exemptions noted in section 3 of Bylaw 3505 apply. Furthermore, additional native shoreline planting is encouraged to screen the buildings, naturalize the shoreline, and address environmental concerns. 3, during construction, proper site preparation and construction methods are to be used to prevent sedimentation of the adjacent lake. Sediment fencing is to be installed down gradient from the construction site. The site is to be properly stabilized immediately following construction to prevent erosion and sedimentation. 4, prior to the pouring of footings, the applicant must remove the playground structure and shed or bring them into compliance with the zoning bylaw. 5, the second story of the 2-story accessory building shall be brought into compliance with the zoning bylaw. 6, the applicant shall obtain the proper septic and building permits for the second story of the 2-story accessory building. And 7, the proposed seasonal dwelling shall comply with the minimum water setback.
You okay with that?
Yes.
Regarding the second story on our garage, like our plan is to, make sure we do the septic that's required for it, but there's no plumbing or anything like that. Right? It's just kind of a play area upstairs for kids when they're
Yep.
younger and stuff, but we can.
Yep, so as of right now, like as I have the building permit from 2001, it said it was gonna be storage.
Yeah.
So if you can
It's-
prove that it's still storage,
Yeah.
it
And
complies.
It's storage, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I go up there like once a year.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for
That's,
something. I can't-
that's what that condition covers
Yeah.
is, can you
Okay.
prove it's storage? Or if you wanted to make it a private cabin, you'd have to obtain the necessary permits to change the use of it.
Which we might do that.
We might do that anyways.
Yeah.
While we're in the
Yep.
process and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just covering that.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that, so.
Especially if you're doing the septic.
That's what we thought,
That's-
just accommodate it no matter what
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
have to do a
do,
whole
even if
septic.
it's.
Yeah, we'll do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do your septic system, make sure you do it for an
Accommodate
extra
all.
bedroom and the extra square footage. And then
Okay.
if you do it,
Then
fine,
it's
and
done.
it's really not that big a deal as far as the size of the septic for you
Okay,
at,
perfect,
at this time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So I'll make the motion that we accept that.
You second, Daryl? Moved and seconded that the committee decision with respect to file D13 MV 2024-009 be recorded as follows. A variance pursuant to section 45(2)(a) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, to permit the expansion of a legal non-conforming use for a seasonal dwelling such as the total area excluding decks is 178 square meters or 1,915 square feet granted. There is an appeal period of 20 days, so just don't do anything until that time's up. Okay?
So we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you
And we
so
hope you
much,
enjoy your
Robert.
new place.
Thank
Thanks very
you.
much for coming.
Save the phone time.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, moved by Barry. Boyce. And seconded by Gerald Walker. Resolve the meeting be now adjourned at 11:15. Is that correct? Yep. AM. Thank you.